I think we're roughly wearing the same shade of lipstick. Dashing. Hey everybody, it's Bunny, and today I'm finally gonna be filming my perfume collection. If I film in front of the cabinet where my perfume is actually sitting, it makes the camera go crazy. I'm about to show it to you, but it's right up against a mirror and the cabinet is white, and I'm like really pale, and the mirror kind of trips the camera's focusing out. I'm constantly having like a secret window moment, and I'm like, no bad videos. This cabinet right here, my grandpa built for me, and this is what houses my perfume collection. It's got a nice little glow-in-the-dark bat action going on. So this is where I keep all of my perfumes and my body sprays, and like up top is the powders and lotions that go with certain sets, and I have like some black nail polish over there. Noxzema isn't perfume either. But yeah, as you can see, we have like 2 full rows of perfume to get to, so I'm gonna just jump right in here. For some reason, talking about perfume makes me really tongue-tied. This is like quantum physics to me. Since I should be at the Panda Bear concert right now, I'll just go ahead and show you all the fragrance I bought for that. Max Turquatic. I really love this fragrance. I put it in my August favorites video last month, and like I said before, I'll say it again, it really smells like you're adrift at sea in some kind of pleasant, like you're gonna maybe die in the middle of the ocean, but you're okay with it. That's basically what this smells like. Maybe a hint of sunscreen or like crushed up bird feathers. I don't really know. The bottle is really kind of like indicative of like jellyfish feathers and like some kind of green wheat grass stuff. I don't really know what's going on here, but it smells good. So now I'm gonna go through 3 fragrances really quick that I don't even think y'all can get anymore, but the reason why I'm showing you all 3 of these at once is because I used to layer all 3 of them at once. I know 3 fragrances sounds a little extreme, but I got a little slap happy one day, and that's just kind of what I did, and then forever and ever I wore them as a trio. Hollister's August, Abercrombie and God! You can tell I never worked there. Abercrombie and Fitch's Now, and this Demeter Fragrance Libraries Kahalala. This one smelled like sunscreen. It legitimately smells like you're on a beach in some kind of like tropical vacation. This one I loved, and it kind of has some of the same notes as this little guy here, but this almost smells like when you're a little kid and you kind of imagine what your boyfriend would smell like. That's what this smells like right here. So I was like, okay, Hawaiian boyfriend. We need to spice it up a little bit. So how about if we have a Hawaiian boyfriend in August? That was like a 30-minute explanation about 3 fragrances I don't even wear anymore. What the hell? Since I just started talking about the whole Demeter fragrance library thing, I'm just gonna go through all my other fragrances with them. Basically, if you don't know what Demeter fragrance is, they make really odd fragrances that smell exactly like what they say it's gonna smell like. So, for instance, waffle. Waffle smells like waffles. I also have chocolate covered cherries. Then I went through a whole thing where I was like, oh, I'd like to smell like some beverages. So they have Between the Sheets, which is just like a rum drink. I mean, it smells really good. It's kind of like a sweet smell. I don't drink, so I don't know if I would assume that the drink doesn't smell anything like this because alcohol smells like alcohol, and this smells like not alcohol. So I don't really get where they were going with this. Sex on the Beach, which is like another cosmopolitan cocktail type scent. This one is very fruity. Prickly Pear, which is also a fruit, I think. Pear is indicative of a fruit, so I'm gonna imagine a prickly pear is also a fruit. This is also really sweet. And last but not least, ginger ale, which is one of my all-time favorite drinks. And this actually smells like I just spilt some soda all over me. So I hear that they have like earthworm and dirt and a bunch of like creepy stuff, so I don't know why I never bought those, but maybe I should look into that. Now I'm gonna go through all the Gwen Stefani / Harajuku Lovers perfumes that I have. I have 2 of the original Harajuku Lover fragrances, G and Love. This is another series of perfumes that I layer. For some reason, I don't really feel like you can wear... I don't know, like somebody back in the land of Nod when these fragrances came out told me that they were meant to layer, so I liked G a little bit more than the smaller ones, so that's why I bought a bigger bottle of this one, which is kind of like a coconut type smell, and a smaller one of Love. Love is kind of a floral scent, so for some reason I was like, coconuts and flowers go great together. I guess I never really like wore them that much, but I don't know, like sometimes, especially in my younger years, I kind of bought into trends. These are trendy. I'm pretty sure Teen Vogue told me to buy them. The other fragrance that I never really ended up wearing that much was the Lamb fragrance. I love lamb clothing and lamb handbags, so I was like, I want to smell like a lamb. Oh, really, Bunny? Just sprayed my tea. Tastes good too. This is kind of a really, really pleasant scent. I don't know why I don't wear this. It's a really, really kind of like florally type alligator. I don't know. Floral type thing. Smells good. That's what I should just start doing. I should just like show y'all the bottle and be like, smells good. And then the most recent Harajuku Lover fragrance I bought. This is probably one of the older ones because I know they're on that whole like mermaid bit now. Holy bats. I picked this up from like off Saks Fifth Avenue or something one time just because she had purple hair and I was like, well, that's cute. My favorite color is purple. This has kind of a grapey smell, which is really pleasant to me. Sometimes I like fruit smells. I mean, we've already been over that. Now I'm going to talk about all the Yves Saint Laurent fragrances I have. I have 3 of them. The first one, what is this called? I don't know. I was really attracted to the bottle at the time, like not gonna lie. This is gonna sound strange, but I almost like fragrances that have like some kind of hint of like musky, I don't want to say masculine because that's not really what I'm going for. You know, kind of like that musky, heavier smell. Like that's generally the fragrances I like because I want to pretend like I'm like an old lady or something. So this is a heavier floral scent. I'm quite fond of it. I just never think to put it on. Then I have Yves Saint Laurent's Parisienne. I don't know. I can't speak French. I was in the French National Honor Society when I was in high school and I learned and retained nothing. They really suckered me in with those Kate Moss ads and like how she was all like leaning and looking all like chic and cool, and I was like, I want to look like that. This is a lighter floral kind of still heavy type fragrance. It smells like France. Next up is Yves Saint Laurent's Baby Doll with the little doodaddies on here. I think this can technically be a keychain, but I was like, whatever. I just kind of like it to be in my cabinet with the doodaddies on it. I love this fragrance. It's extremely light. I have to spray this like 37 times a day in order to maintain the smell. It's kind of light and florally. Do they still make this? I don't know. I wish I was like Walt Disney so I could be like smell-o-vision and just like let you guys smell it. And then maybe I'd put those synthetic bugs underneath your chairs too, so when you watch this, that makes no sense and sounds utterly creepy if you've never been to Animal Kingdom at Walt Disney World. Synthetic bug chairs. They have them. Who's ready for Marc Jacobs? Marc Jacobs is one of my all-time favorite designers. So I have 3 Marc Jacobs fragrances. The first one is the traditional Marc Jacobs. I don't really have a word for this. This smells like summer of 2009. So if you weren't there, I'm sorry you missed out. It's kind of heavier smell-ing. This is like the Marc Jacobs fragrance for grown-ups. It really is kind of like a more sophisticated smell, whilst I feel Lola and the newest one, Oh Lola, is kind of meant for the younger crowd. I kind of feel like this is, once again, the grandmother perfume. I also have Lola to make up for it, so some days I can be old and some days I can be young. This smell really reminds me of Savannah. I guess just because like I was in Savannah at the exact time that this fragrance was launched. So for some reason, it just always makes me think of like old rotten buildings and looking for ghosts and stuff that I do in Savannah. That makes no sense to anyone who isn't me. The last fragrance I have from Marc Jacobs is kind of out there. I don't really know what the hell it was called or what was going on. I got this one of the times that I was in the Savannah boutique as well. I thought this was really cool though, because you get this one, what are these called? Atomizers? You get one little doodaddy, and then you got these interchangeable vials of fragrances. So you could kind of carry this. Like I feel like I can carry this in my purse because like even though this is glass, like I feel like the plastic protects the glass. They have really strange smells like amber and violet. So you can either smell like a fossilized dinosaur or like a color. Wait, a violet is a flower. But I don't know what a violet smells like. Next up is two fragrances by Dior. This is what December smells like if you're bunny. It's kind of actually pretty sweet and probably a little light for wintertime wear, but I don't really follow any of those rules ever. And it's got houndstooth on the bottle. Bonus Jonas. The other Dior fragrance I have is really, really new, but it's Dior Addict, and I think this is actually Dior Addict 2, if I remember the box right, which I threw away. What is this? I don't know. I really can't place a name on what this smells like still. I don't think I was able to in my August favorites video either. I bought it because the bottle made me think of ghosts. It just looks kind of ghostly and ethereal. So I was like, oh, this fragrance must be perfect for my life. Next up is Juicy Couture, of which I own 2.5 bottles of that brand of fragrance. First off, I have the classic Juicy. When this perfume came out, I went crazy. I literally bought
the hairspray that smelled like this, the body powder that smelled like this, the deodorant that smelled like this, the rollerball that smelled like this.
They even gave me an air freshener for my car that smelled like the original Juicy Couture. I went crazy. It just smells really I really don't know. It's almost relevant of baby powder, maybe, but not quite, because I don't like how baby powder smells. So it probably really actually doesn't smell like baby powder, because I wouldn't buy it. Not really like vanilla, but maybe like some kind of cookie that you would kind of maybe find at a bake sale, like if you were a cheerleader. Don't really know what this one's called, but this was the second Juicy Couture fragrance that they came out with. I think this was like Peace, Love, or In Your Face, or Love Grand Prize, or whatever G&P stands for. Never really got into this one as much as I thought I would. It doesn't even smell bad, but it's just kind of like a weird old lady smell. Why I say I have 2.5 is because the last little thingy is a rollerball. Since I didn't really end up wearing this one too much, I was like, well, okay. And then they came out with Viva La Juicy, and I was like, well, I'll give them one more chance. And I never really quite ended up using this too much either. So now we're down to what I like to prefer as the shelf stragglers, which means I'm just gonna be going through the other perfumes on both of the shelves that don't really particularly go in some kind of brand set. The very first one is the original Vera Wang fragrance. I bought this for my senior prom? Junior prom? I don't know, some prom. That's what this was for. I just kind of felt like I was in high school when I smelled it. Like, does that work on anybody else? Like, it's kind of like you have one smell that you wear like only at a particular time, and then if you ever smell that smell again, you're like, I'm at prom. The next one, I must have been in a real minimalist mood that day. Rock and Rose's Valentino. It definitely kind of smells like graham crackers, but like rose biscuits. Like maybe if I was in a classy London tea party. Next one, Japanese Cherry Blossom. I legitimately thought that this was gonna smell like cherries. It doesn't smell like cherries. I guess a Japanese cherry blossom is probably a plant. I really like this because it's $7.50 and it's perfect for when I take like a trip. Why did I say that? So when I take a trip, when I go out of town, I like to take this with me because even if I do bust it, I'm just like, well, whatever. Next up is Viktor and Rolf's Flower Bomb. This is probably one of the more expensive fragrances I have in my collection. This little sucker was literally 90 bucks. Not only does it have a floral smell, but also kind of a vanilla-y type smell. I really wanted this because I love the advertisement with like the girl being suffocated by some kind of, I don't know, rose thing. It looks like her face is a ghost petal. What does that even mean? The next fragrance is so cheap and I literally got it at the grocery store, but I love it. My mom told me about this fragrance. She said that she used to wear it when she was like really young, but it's called Ananis Ananis. It was probably super stylish in the 70s. Ananis Ananis. This actually smells like flowers in a graveyard. It's kind of got like a musty kind of floral, kind of dead, like creepy smell. So if you want to smell like dead people's flower bouquets, this is the right fragrance for you. This fragrance, I don't even know what the hell it is. I just kind of keep it around for my amusement. I don't know if I've ever put this on. I used to have a friend who worked at Ulta and they like got a bunch of stuff for free. And so one day she just brought this home to me. I don't even know what the hell it is. Noir Pearl. I don't know what that means. Whatever. This one I used to wear all the time, but I never really do anymore. I went through a whole Lucky brand phase where everything I wore, my whole mantra was Lucky brand. I want to wear tie-dye every day. So this is very woodlandsy, sandalwoody type hippiness. Like if you want to live in a commune, appropriate smell. The next thing is a Rollerball by Tokidoki. I have shown y'all this before. This one smells kind of citrusy. It smells really good. They have like 6 other ones, so if you don't like something that smells citrusy, you should go check out the other ones. I think this is only available at Sephora, if I'm not mistaken. It's either like 16 or 18 bucks, but it's really not expensive at all for a fragrance. I give it 5 stars. Top shelf stragglers. The first one is that fragrance by Hilary Duff, and I have no shame to say that I still wear this all the time. It smells quite pleasant. With love. I think she's put out like 20 more fragrances subsequent to this, like most singers do these days. I think it just wears really well on my skin personally. I don't know if other people are that fanatical about it. Next one is definitely also one of my staple fragrances, which is Diesel Fuel for Life. I never really knew what to think about this like weird like mesh covering of this traditional shaped perfume bottle, but guess I'm forced to deal with it. Maybe like a naturey type fragrance thing. Like if you got lost in a pleasant forest and you were wandering down the path alone, but maybe like a deer came up to you. That's just the feeling of this fragrance. Next is a fragrance that I guess I never really ended up wearing too much, but it's Calvin Klein's Euphoria Blossom. This looks like some kind of like robot fragrance. I don't know, I went through a phase where I was just constantly like listening to Bjork and I was like, everything is made of robots and paint splashes. Let's lay around and be Icelandic. It's really not a bad smell though. It's kind of like a mid-range floral. It's not like a really like sweet floral. It's kind of like just a floral you'd be okay with. Next one is Christina Ricci. Yeah, right. Nina Ricci. I like Christina Ricci better. But it's got these little birdies on it. But I really like older fragrances. Like fragrances that have been around for ye olden long time, like a powdery floral. It's really, really nice. Sadly, I think I'm quasi-allergic to this though, because sometimes I put it on and I don't like really feel sick, but I start to get the sneezies. I still wear it anyway sometimes, just because I'm a rebel. I don't care. Next is Gucci by Gucci. Who else is just kind of like annoyed at, oh, well, I guess I'm not annoyed at Marc Jacobs for doing it. I don't know, I just kind of expect designers to be more creative when they name their fragrances. When you smell a little of this in the bottle, this smells like it would be the most like heaviest fragrance in the world. But this is another one of those fragrances that I find myself like I've worn it for 3 hours, especially in the southern heat down here in Texas. This fragrance doesn't really stay on that long. It doesn't really have that long of a wearability. Pretty much every fragrance I buy is either like floral or kind of musky, or a musky floral with maybe some food in it. This fragrance I do wear quite frequently. It is Stella by Stella McCartney. This is literally the fragrance I take with me every single time I go to Walt Disney World. So to me, this smells like Walt Disney World. This is one of my staple fragrances. Fragrances. Suddenly I'm Elmer Fudd. Fragrant. I'm a fragrant wabbit. Next is the Betsey Johnson fragrance. Of course I own this. I find myself wearing this like when I'm wearing some Betsey Johnson stuff. This is very, very, very much like vanilla smell, but it's very, very sweet. So if you're not a fan of sweet fragrances, don't tread on these waters. This is one of my all-time favorite fragrances, which is Ralph Lauren's Wild. I don't know if they still sell this, but gosh, I hope they do, because as you guys can see, this is probably like one of my most worn fragrances. This is definitely my staple go-to fragrance for concerts. This is very, very much like a cherry fragrance. I think that's actually what it was advertised as. But they did like a whole different series, kind of almost like the Harajuku Lovers, where they're like, are you wild? Are you crazy? Are you some other adjective that you don't really want to be? I don't really want to be wild. I mean, wild sounds almost like feral. Y'all remember that scary story about that wolf girl? That's kind of what this makes me feel like. This fragrance I bought to go on vacation one year, and I kind of wore it for that, and then I never really stepped back to it, but it was like the it fragrance to buy one year, which is Burberry's The Beat in this little like bottle, which kind of makes me think of Allie sang on here because she loves Burberry. But it's really light, so if you like light florally type things, then Burberry's The Beat is for you. Okay, so Top two fragrances. Top two fragrances are both Estee Lauder fragrances. My mom wore Estee Lauder fragrances like all when I was a kid growing up. Anytime I'd like play hooky from school and stay home and just party and do fun stuff all day, everything smelled like Estee Lauder. So I just kind of like associate Estee Lauder with feeling comfortable and happy and free to just hang out and do whatever. Throw a party when I was 9. The first one is Beautiful, and this is actually one of my newest bottles of Beautiful, and my dad actually had this engraved for me last year at Christmas time. See, so it says Bunny, and then it's got the year on it. But I just like how my own perfume has my own freaking name on it. All Estee Lauder fragrances are kind of like heavier. It smells so beautiful. Oh my god. I had to take a break because the camera battery died. Even more inconveniently, it died when I was on my last freaking bottle of perfume. This perfume is my life partner. I don't go anywhere without this bottle of perfume. The fragrance is Estee by Estee Lauder. I once again have 2 bottles, and 1 bottle is almost completely gone. This has absolutely been my favorite fragrance since I was like 9 years old. It's really, really, really a heavy fragrance and kind of somewhat smells like licorice. So I'm sure this video has been long enough, so I'm just going to quickly conclude. And as usual, I hope you guys enjoyed this. For those of you who have been waiting for this video for like 2.5 million years, I hope it was cool enough. As usual, please take a moment to subscribe. Comment down below, let me know if I mentioned one of your favorite fragrances or if you own any of these or what your favorite fragrance is if I don't already own it. If you want, you can like me on Facebook, facebook.com/graveyardgirl. Or you can follow me on Twitter. There I am, pretty vacant, @prettyvacant. See you guys later.